Hey everybody, how's it going? Seth here. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to think through the process of naming your real estate investing business. If you're a land flipper like I am, or even if you're like a house flipper or anybody who quickly buys and sells real estate as a dealer where you're treating the properties as your inventory and your objective is to quickly buy and sell them, I think it's a really good idea to use one LLC, but set it up as two different brand names. And by the way, this is not legal advice, but just to really quickly summarize the reason why I have mine set up this way is mainly for simplicity and also because I have to use the same LLC to purchase, hold, and then sell that property. So it really kind of has to flow under a single entity. And the way you can do this is you just pick out a business name and then you register that business name in the state where you're going to be doing most of your business. And then once that's registered, you can set up what's called a DBA or an assumed name or a trade name or a fictitious business name. There's a lot of different names for what this is. I don't know why, but it's all the same thing. It's basically like a different mask that you're putting on your LLC when you portray your business to the world. There's actually a lot of companies that do this. For example, Subway, the sandwich shops, that's actually a company called Doctors Associates, Inc., wearing the mask of Subway. You ever heard of Xfinity before? Well, guess what? Xfinity is just a DBA for the company Comcast Cable Communications, LLC. Or Hampton Inn, that's a DBA for the company called Hilton Franchise Holding, LLC. So there's a lot of companies out there that do this. This is a very common thing, and you can do the same thing in your business. So with all this in mind, we got to pull back and understand what we're really doing here is we are trying to name and come up with a brand for two different companies, even though it's all flowing under one LLC. And the way that I suggest most people do this is you use your actual literal LLC name for one of the two sides of your business, and then you make up a assumed name or a fictitious business name or a DBA for the other side of your business. And it doesn't really matter which one goes where. You just want to understand when you're registering your LLC, know that that LLC name, like exactly as it's written, should probably be used for one of the two sides of your business. Now, one very important mental note to make for yourself, and we're getting a little ahead at this point, but it's still worth mentioning because it has a lot to do with the stage we're at. The LLC name, whatever that is, and whichever side it's going on, that is the name that you ultimately need to be using whenever you sign any kind of a legal document like a purchase agreement or a contract or a deed, anything like that. That LLC name is what matters, not the DBA. The DBA is only used for marketing purposes, so like what goes on your website and used for your logo and on your business card if you have them. But any kind of a legally binding contract needs to be using that LLC name, whether you're on the buying or the selling side. For example, let's say you decide to use the name ABC Land LLC, and you're going to use this for the buying arm of your business. And then you decide to register the name Best Land Investors as your DBA, and you're going to use that for the selling side of your business. So when it comes time to sign purchase contracts or deeds or any kind of contract you sign on behalf of your company, you should be using the LLC name in that contract. In our example here, ABC Land LLC, not the DBA. Because ABC Land LLC, that is the legal name of your company, not Best Land Investors. So don't start bringing in your DBA to any contracts you sign, just use the LLC name. So when you're trying to figure out what your business names should be for each side, it's really easy to overthink this, and I overthought this. I spent a long time coming up with dozens of different business names that I thought sounded cool, thinking that it was going to be like a huge deal if I pick the wrong name. But the reality is it's not something you have to overthink, and picking a generic name is totally fine. And in fact, picking a name with words that have nothing to do with your business, that can work too. Think about companies like Amazon or Apple or Starbucks. These are words that have nothing to do with the product or the products that they sell, but they're very easy, short, memorable words that stick in people's minds. So, don't feel like you need to use the words land or properties or buyers or sellers in your name. You certainly can, but you don't have to. I would say it's more important to pick a name that is as simple, as short, and as memorable as possible. But it's actually super easy to do this and get really good ideas these days with different chatbots that are out there. At the time of this recording, ChatGPT is a big thing, and I'm using ChatGPT 4 with a Plus subscription. A nice thing about using this is that you can also use plugins And there is a plugin for one-word domains. And what this will do is it will not only help you come up with ideas for your company, but it can also, at the same time, check to see if that domain name is available. And it's not vital that your domain name matches your business name exactly, but it can certainly help. It just kind of eliminates one more possible point of confusion. So if you can find a domain that is exactly or very close to your actual company name, preferably .com, but even if not that, a lot of other extensions can work as well. And ChatGPT can really quickly help you figure out what those things are. So for example, I'm trying to come up with a name for my land investing business. We will buy vacant land from motivated sellers. Please give me 20 name ideas and also let me know which of these names have an exact match with a .com domain. Okay, so it's still going and it's giving me a lot of different good options here. And it's also checking the domain name to see which one is actually available under a .com domain. And I'll just say it doesn't have to be a .com domain, but because that's usually what most people think of and assume, I usually try to grab that one if I can. So it's giving us 20, pretty solid ideas here. Land Liberator, Vacant Ventures, Terra Trusts. I don't know if I'd use that one necessarily, but whatever. Plot Pioneers, Ground Guardians, Land Looms. It's kind of weird, looms. I don't get it. So, these aren't all awesome, but several of them could work. And then it's showing us which of these actually has a domain name available under .com. So that's the super convenient, easy way to do it. If you don't have a paid ChatGPT account, you could also just use the free GPT 3.5 and ask the exact same question and get pretty much the same answers. But the difference is it probably would not be able to cross-check it against one-word domains and that kind of thing. But you could just as well take these same ideas and go over to NameCheap.com. REtipster does have an affiliate link with NameCheap. In case you're interested in that, you just start plugging those into NameCheap to see if they have them available here. So Plot Pioneers, I think that's a pretty solid name. It's actually a nice name that could be used for either buying or selling. So I think if you can stay generic and memorable, that's probably the way to go because you don't have to paint yourself into a corner if you call your company ABC Land Buyers. Now you have to use that for buying. And you can't do anything else. Or if you say like bargain land properties, that conveys that you're only dealing in cheap properties or cheap real estate or stuff that, may have a lower value, which could be fine if that's really all you ever plan to work with. But what if you ever come across a luxury, amazing 500-acre ranch somewhere? And now you're using a brand with the name bargain or discount in it or something like that. So that's why I try to avoid any of those words that are going to force me to conduct my business in a certain way or Michigan land buyers, for example. What if I don't always buy land in Michigan? What if I want to do it in some other state? So that's why names like this or names like Ground Guardians or Plot Prospects or Ground Gains or something like that, I think would probably be better because it's short, it's memorable, and it's generic enough that, you could use it for any real function that you want as a land company. So as we can see back here on NameCheap, plotpioneers.com is taken, but it's also going to show you a lot of other options that are still available, like plotpioneers.net. Oftentimes you'll find that one is available when .com is not, or .org. You could do this beast mode thing where you select these popular ones, like you could do .co or .online or .net or .inc or .biz, any of those things, and then find out what's available there. But we're not done yet because another critical thing to understand is this business name even available in the state where I'm planning to register it? For example, let's say we're going to do this in Arizona or Michigan or whatever. All you'd have to do is, once you understand what state you're going to register your LLC in, you just go to Google and do that state and then business entity search to find the website where you can search all of the registered business entities in that state. So let's do that. Go there, and that's going to bring us to this state government website where we can start typing out the names that we're considering. And I will tell you, if you're going to use a super generic name with keywords that everybody thinks of, there's a good chance your name is already taken or something really close to it. So that's another reason why something like ChatGPT can be helpful because it can help you still get to the point without using those common keywords that everybody else has already thought of. But I'll show you what I mean here. So let's do kind of a generic name. We'll just say discount land. And look at that. It's already taken. No surprise. But what if we do Plot Pioneers? Plot Pioneers. Look at that. No search results were found. So that name is fair game. And it looks like the .com domain is not available, but that's okay. There's plenty of other options out there we can choose from if we want to stick with that name. And when you're trying to figure out if a certain name is available in the state where you plan to register it, this same process applies whether you are registering for a new LLC, like the actual business entity, or if your LLC already exists and you're trying to register that DBA on top of that LLC. You'd have to go through the same process because you can't pick a new LLC name or a assumed name unless nobody else has it in that state. So whatever names you're thinking of for either one of those brands, run it through this process and you can figure out if it's available. And, we can try this with any other state and find a very similar type of website out there. We'll try Indiana business entity search. We'll find Indiana's version of it right here. Same kind of thing where you can type out that business name and see what's available. And once you've got the names figured out for your business entity name itself, and then also the assumed name that will sit on top of that, you can go here to Northwest Registered Agent. We have an affiliate link to this as well. You can get a huge discount if you go through this link. And if you already have your LLC all registered and you just need to create that DBA for it, then you can go through LegalZoom. We've got a link to this as well. And this is the easiest way I know of to get that part of the job done. For the most part, it's not rocket science. You don't need to spend a ton of time obsessing over this, but the point is you just want to make sure it's easy and memorable and available and not so specific that it limits how you can portray yourself to the rest of the world. And once you got all that done, you can then go forward with creating some kind of a business logo. You can set up individual phone numbers and websites for each one of those brand names, even though it's all flowing through to the same business entity or LLC that you're using. Hopefully that helps you think through this process. And I wish you all the best in naming your company. Good luck.